Okay then folks, I'm back. Now this area over here is the former site of a hugel mound or a hugel bed that are constructed by burying branches and twigs and woody material, and then I put grass clods and grass clippings and leaves and manure and then soil that I made at the garden over the very top. And as you can see right here, the soil in here is just looking really nice and it's full of nutrition. If I just give it a squeeze there, you can see that it's holding together really nice and it's raised up, and the nature of the soil means that it's really water retentive as well as also well draining, and it's been quite dry over the course of the last few days, so this area has dried out quite a bit, but you can see there that the soil itself is holding on to some really nice nutrients. So I'm happy in terms of this soil in here, and this is where I'm going to grow some green beans and some French beans and runner beans this year. And I've had a bit of a change of heart about the artichokes, but I'll show you what it is that I like to do and what I've done over here with these rows here and some short little rows over there. But what I like to do is I like to dig a spade's depth down. So you can see I've dug a spade's depth down there, and then I'll bring over some manure that is well rotted, and I mixed a little bit of this soil that you see right here in with this manure. So you can see in there there's bits of manure and there's also some soil mixed in with it. So if I was going to plant the artichokes, which I'm not doing because like I say, I've had a change of heart and I really have got a lovely harvest here to make into some artichoke soup, which I'm going to box and freeze. But you can see here I've dug a spade's depth down, okay, and what I would do is I would then line the bottom of this trench with an inch or so of well rotted cow manure and some soil mixed together. So that'll provide a nice amount of nutrients and also water holding capabilities for the artichokes that I would have planted in here. So you can see there, that's what I would have done. And then what I would have done after that is I would have just got a bit more of the soil and just put a little bit of soil over the top of that. And then I would have got the artichoke and I would have placed it, not that one because I've caught that one with a fork, but this one right here, I would place it so the shoots that are developing on it are pointing upwards as best as possible. So you can see there's a nice shoot there, and there's also other shoots going to develop on this tuber as well. And I would just place this into the hole like so, and then I would cover it over with all of this soil in this bed, which is looking really nice. So that would get covered over, and then I would mound it up as they started to emerge, and that would give them more stability. So you can see that's where I've platted it in there, and then 14 inches, between 12 and 16 inches is ideal, but I usually go for 14 with these if they're quite large tubers like this. So the last one was right here, so again I'll just put it round about 14 inches, and I've measured my arm, so from elbow to me wrist there is 12 inches. So if I just put my arm down like that, then it would be 14 inches, but you would use a tape measure rather than just use your arm. But since I know the measurement of my arm, that's the thing that I like to use and it works for me. And then I would just cover over the top of the artichokes, and then I would have a row all the way to the far end, and then I would set in the rest of them. But this has been an artichoke bed for the last 3 seasons, and it really is nice to have some new ones set in. But I want to clear this bed out and I want to do something different with it this year, and that's why me change of heart. I've decided I'm going to rotate the artichokes, and I'm not going to put them in the same place for a 4th year in a row. But that's what I would do. I would put manure in the bottom, a little bit of soil on the top, and then set the artichokes in, as you've seen right there. And then I would then mound it up as they grow, and that gives them some stability because they can reach 8 to 10 foot in height. And then that's the tubers that you get come the winter and into late winter, early spring. And I've got a lot of soup to make, and we ate a lot of them this year. And this bed, like I say, over the last 3 years I've took out the ones that I've harvested, and then I've dug it out as well as I can, and then I've replanted. But it's easy to miss just a little one. You can see how small they can be. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this bed as it is, and as they start to appear in the spring, which they will, I'll take them out, and then this bed will be cleared out. You can see there, look, there's even tiny little ones that are in there. So after 3 years you get so many that are stray ones. So as the spring goes on and these poke out, I'm going to dig them all out and clear this bed. And I've had a change of heart, like I say, and I'm going to be growing beans over here. So that's my plan. I will go into setting out trenches and do a proper video another day, but I have showed you there what it is that I like to do, and the manure that I've decided to use as well. And mixing it with some soil just helps to break it up a little bit. So as you can see, you can just break it up with your hands, and that'll then in turn feed the artichokes underneath where you've planted them, so the roots will go down into the nutritious soil and manure. Provide them with water in terms of hydration in hot and dry weather in the summer, because they're really thirsty plants that are heavy feeders. And as you can see, I get nice tubers. But there was just too many, and we ate them all winter long. And these ones, even though they've shot away, they're all going home, and tonight they're all going to go into soup boxes and in the freezer, and then it's just a bit of stored goodness that I can call back on at any time throughout the year when I fancy some artichoke soup. But I do apologise everybody that I didn't actually set a row in here, but I had to think about it when I was fiddling around with the garden, and I decided that I was changing my plan. I was going to put one row in here and then put me beans here, but I think in terms of the bed itself, once I clear away a couple of these young fruit bushes, I'm going to get these put in the pots and clear all this out. I'll be able to fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 good wigwams of beans in here, and I really love me beans for the protein that they bring, as well as the goodness and the fact they're really tasty things. So that's what I've decided. Okay, I hope that's alright, and if you were looking forward to seeing us put the trench in, then I didn't do it, but I did tell you what I did do, and that's what you can get, and that's what I've been picking from all winter long. And it'll be nice to show you what I get harvested from this area in the future, but that's a decision that I've made. Please excuse the siren there, but my garden has to provide us with everything that I need, and I just felt that clearing this out and getting all the artichokes out and doing something new was what I wanted. Alright, I'm just going to tip on this manure stuff here, because it may as well go onto the bed and just help to enhance the soil further. And then I'm just going to pull all this back over the top. In fact, you know what, I'll do it with my hand so you can see the nature of the soil that's in here. And this hugel stuff is really cool. Love it. So this is where me beans are going this year, everyone, in this bed that is mounded up to some degree because of the nature of the hugel mound that I made. And you can see there that it does drop down and rises up to there. But I'm going to dig it over and rake it so it's a nice square shape again. and come the summer, this is where me beans are going. Everyone, okay? Thanks for your time, and thanks for watching us have a bit chat about me garden. Okie dokie. I'll catch you again on the next one. See you guys. Lovely sunset tonight. Bye bye.